Welcome back to another episode of Life After Sunday. Men, whether we like it or not, socialism isn't just some stupid fringe idea anymore. We hear it in politics, online, everywhere. It's everywhere. And I think a lot of people don't even know what they're actually agreeing on or what they think they're agreeing on, what it even means. So today we're going to dive into that. Socialism, communism, totalitarianism. That's a mouthful.
That is. And we'll mispronounce it.
Yeah.
And we're not saying we're experts on any of these subjects. We're just kind of
dudes
giving our thoughts on it, where we're at.
And we just want to inform you guys, like our audience, because like it's easy in the beginning of all this, like when you see it, to be like, hey, this kind of plays on our Christian values a little bit. So I can get behind this, when in reality, it's not good. So just educate a little bit.
You're agreeing to your own demise.
1,000%.
It's called suicidal empathy. Whenever the left and they play on our Christian empathy and lead us into something that will end up controlling us and taking away our religious freedoms, that's the end game.
Taking away not just even our every freedom.
Everything. And it sounds so good on the surface. So we wanted to talk about it because I guess when the largest city in the United States, when enough people, he's openly socialist, and the people voted him in.
It blows my mind.
That is a massive alarm bell to the rest of the country.
Like, I think it goes back to what I was just saying about people are agreeing and voting this guy in by what he's saying
openly,
but they don't even know what he's really saying.
No, it just sounds good. And
well, this is like the commercial. I don't remember what company it was for, but the whole thing is all they hear is free. Free.
Yes.
Free. Everything's free.
Yeah.
You know,
and unfortunately,
and there's no such thing as free.
No, but so much of our population are just sheep.
Yeah.
And before Mondami in New York, this stuff was talked about by the fringe left in the back rooms.
Yeah.
And they would talk publicly, keeping those ideas back because American people would reject it. That has changed.
Now, what did Mondami say in his little press conference thing? Like,
so his housing secretary, because in New York, that's a powerful position because there's so much public housing. And I couldn't believe it the day she came out and said that, Mondami said, we're going to replace rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism.
That was the word, the warmth of collectivism.
So to a sheep, that sounds great. And dude, that is a major nuclear bomb going off. And then the housing secretary came in and basically said, home ownership is a problem because home ownership doesn't allow everybody to have a home. We're going to change our views of property. And what New York's already trying to do is New York's using their home inspection or their, like they'll come in and look at an apartment building and they'll say, this apartment building doesn't meet the standard. And then they're going to try to kick out the private owners of that using health and safety codes. And then the government takes over. So
they rent it to whoever.
And then they provide government housing because that's what socialism does. So
meanwhile, this lady, is it her or her parents own like this multi-million-dollar house in Tennessee?
Yes, this white lady talked about, she also said that whites would be affected by this new housing belief. And then we find out that our mother lives in a $1.5 million home
in
Tennessee. So again, you're also seeing the baggage of socialism, that they put up a front while they themselves are living the way you want to live. Yeah. But to the public, we're like collectivism. Everybody's the same. Everybody gets free stuff. But behind the scenes, they're living the high life.
Wow. So before we get too deep, let's try to define here for our listeners that don't know, like, what is Well, let's talk about socialism. What is socialism? What does that even mean?
So capitalism is our form of government, and that's rugged individualism. Anybody can do whatever they want. It's a free country.
The American dream.
American dream. You can fall on your face and be homeless, or you can go be Elon Musk and create SpaceX.
And from no matter what background you're from,
Correct.
you can either succeed or fail.
And the socialists view that as a harsh system, because in that system, there will be people who fail.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like when they're trying to change the grades where nobody gets a bad grade. You know, it's that whole, all that leads to average, that leads to stale, where capitalism, yes, there will be people who fail, but that's life. But you can also pull yourself up by your bootstraps and succeed. So socialism,
Participation trophies.
that's what socialism.
They're socialism.
That's socialism. Socialism means, if I can just make it very simple, it's government control of essentially everything to keep the individuals from controlling anything. And the idea behind that is that, well, Bob, you can't rise too high, because if you rise too high, you're taking something away from Chris.
Right.
So we're all going to be at the same level. And
That's like they basically want to redistribute wealth
Yes.
evenly among people.
yes, I take Bob's extra and I give it to you because you don't have as much.
Yeah.
Right.
And
That's just like my health insurance right now. Because I make enough money, I pay $950 a month
Jeez.
for health insurance for my family. And Joe Blow down the street that doesn't work, doesn't have a job, gets his for free, the same insurance
yes,
for free.
he gets a subsidy from the government.
Yes, because he doesn't make as much as me. So
Or-
why now? My question is, why do I want to work hard to make more when I don't even get the benefits from it?
No, you're working hard, and your tax dollars are paying for his subsidy.
And the way they want to spend that is, well, okay, you say you're a Christian. You should want to give to these people. You should want to take care of other people. And I do. But I also, Christianity always has a choice. Within socialism, there is no choice.
And isn't there a quote in the Bible or something along these lines? You two can help me on this. Basically, if you don't work, you don't eat.
You don't work, you don't eat.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the Bible.
Remember that. And when you talk to your kids or something and they start talking about this stuff, critical thinking is key, because if you don't critically analyze like what's happening in New York, you can be a sheep and flow right into it. Because let's be honest, if we don't critically analyze this, who isn't for everybody? No homeless people.
Right.
Everybody gets a job no matter what. The state's going to provide you a job. Here's subsidy. Free. Who doesn't
Free.
want that? It helps everybody.
Yeah.
It helps
And there's
everybody.
a huge
it's for the
emphasis-
greater good.
Yeah. And there's a huge emphasis too on, like, you see it everywhere now. Sports teams, I hate it when they do it, but like equality is everywhere.
Yeah,
And that's a basis of socialism.
it is.
Equality and like this collective good, like you're saying, for everybody.
Yeah. So if you want, and I give you all a challenge. If you're bored, because we'll go into communism, but socialism is phase one of communism.
Yeah.
And I'll go ahead and hit this too. A lot of European countries are socialist, which means it's a combination of capitalism with basically kind of where we're headed, with tons of government intervention on the economy and everything else, right? So in Europe, look what's happening. They are beginning to slide into communism. So they're banning X all over Europe. Why do they want to ban X? Because they want the conversation shut down.
X is free speech.
Yes. You've seen the videos where people are getting their door, like you've got rape gangs going, you've got major crime going in Europe, and they're not even addressing it. And yet, if you make a post on social media, I've seen tons of videos.
They're showing up at your house.
The British police are knocking on your door and wanting to talk to you about your post last night. Okay, that's when you're beginning to slide into communism.
Well, communism, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it often comes from a revolution that happened maybe during the socialism.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's even, I think it was Karl Marx said, or the leader of the father of communism said, socialism's just phase one of communism.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, I want to ask a question and answer a question. Yeah, why? So why wouldn't we want socialism? Why? I mean, it's on the surface, man. It's cake.
it's
It's iced
wonderful.
cake. But why I don't want it is because when we have socialism, that means now every one of us are reliant on the government
Everything.
and on everything. And now the powers that be stay the powers that be. Nobody can change the powers that be because
no
I
vote.
can't bite the hand that feeds me.
Correct.
So it's just like having a job that you can't get out of because you have to have the money for your income. I can't leave this job because I have to be here to get paid.
Yeah.
So I can't tell them what I really feel or think because I still need a paycheck.
We talked about this the other day. Like, once you get to the point of communism and even totalitarianism, there is no going back.
No.
Once you get there,
Not
that's
without
it.
a revolution.
Once
You're
the
going-
government
yeah.
takes something, they never, ever give it back.
And to have communism, you have to have like strong state power, like that never goes away. It's never going to go away.
No. And for example, even I think Cortez, what's her name? AOC. Cortez was talking about, and I've heard Bernie say it. They've actually talked about when price controls. When you hear price controls, again, on the surface, let's talk about it. On the surface, listen, y'all, the bread and milk is too high.
Eggs.
And they're trying to screw you over, those grocers. We're going to control the price and we're going to set a limit on how high. You know what? On gas, we're going to put a limit on that too because they're screwing you and we got your back. We're going to put price controls on it.
I mean, if they want to go in and put a price control on something, let's go in and put it on the NIL. If we're going to control something.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what happens is, like, when they do that, then these people that are producing the milk and the eggs and these grocers, they stop making money. They go out of business. Then the government has no way. The government can't produce milk.
The government produces nothing. I read a really good story about it was in Venezuela about a company that was trying to provide, because they have price controls, and you'll hear about it, communism, bread lines, any socialist or communist country, a lot of them have had, you get bread lines because there's no supplies. Well, he tried to provide food under that system to the people. And he said they kept coming in and lowering the price, forcing him to lower it, and he couldn't make any money. And then he said, half the stuff I delivered, the bureaucrats, the generals, the people that had power were stealing it. He couldn't say nothing because it's total state control. And then they're selling it to make money for themselves off to the side. And then what they'll do is nationalize your company. When they nationalize your company, Venezuela did it to Citgo in Venezuela. They said, yeah, Citgo, guess what? You don't own this anymore. We own it. They did it in Russia. Shell had a huge refinery on Sakhalin Island, and they were doing sharing, like working under the communist government. And the government said, you know what, Shell? You're making too much money off the people and you're screwing the people. We're now taking over your company. Billions of dollars written off. Well, here's what happens. The government can't run these places. And then that's what happened in Venezuela. The bread company, the food company, the government said we're going to run it. They didn't know how to run it. And all of a sudden it crumbled and it just disappeared.
You have no bread company.
Now
no
you have
food.
no bread company. And so that's why it doesn't work. But to the sheep on the surface, who wouldn't love price controls, right?
Free.
Free.
Yeah, yeah. And and here's the other thing. If you don't you want to see physically with your own eyes, if you're bored, go to a major city in Russia. Go to any communist country and look at the housing from Google Earth. Here in America, you see green, lush residential neighborhoods, private home ownership everywhere. There, you see these boxes. They're literally just boxes, and it looks dystopian. Like they're all the same. Giant square white buildings, zero architecture, the ugliest thing you've ever seen. That is state-controlled housing. Yes, we'll give you a house, and it's going to look exactly like the million other people that you live with.
And what's crazy is 40%, I don't know, this is a recent poll, I don't know where it came from, but 40% of young Americans view socialism favorably.
Yes.
That blows my mind.
Yeah. And
But I don't think it's because they don't know what they're favoring.
they're not using critical thinking.
They're favoring the free.
And they're actually, there's a lot of churches who are doing the same thing. They're doing it through working with government NGOs, helping the immigration off the record.
Yeah.
Helping the immigration go against, helping them get across illegally, again, under the Christian loving, I'm here to help people. Everybody should be able to come to America, literally helping people break the law.
I just want to say that was the most money, best transition that ever happened on this podcast.
Totally planned. It was in the architecture
money,
of the show.
son. So, like Bob talked about earlier, you just talked about, let's dive into that. Why does it appeal to Christian, this socialism, communist thing? Like,
Because we are empathetic people.
yeah.
Christians help people.
It sounds like helping the poor. Like Bob, I mean, that's biblical. Helping
Give,
the poor.
and it shall be given unto you.
Yeah. Care
You
for
know.
the sick.
Yeah, take care of the sick.
Feed the
Christians,
hungry.
Feed the
Christians
hungry. Yeah.
are the most philanthropic people on the face of the earth.
What does that mean?
They give their money. They volunteer. They give more money. They do more for the human race voluntarily on their own than any group of humans on this earth.
Yep.
So then you take that, and then if you have bad intentions, you can use that to your advantage.
If you care about people, socialism can sound like Christianity with a policy plan.
Oh, where'd you get that?
Can't tell you.
Wow, that's good. And see, and churches have to be alert to this. And as a matter of fact, I was proud of our church. I heard a story at our church. They try to give money and help people who need it. And somebody came to them, needed some money, and they did a little background check into it and basically learned that if they give this person money, this person's not going to they're not trying to help themselves. They're just going to get money from you. Then they're going to get it from somebody else. They're not trying to get on their feet and do it.
They're just working the system.
They're working the system, and they didn't give them the money.
We have, at our church, we have benevolence in our budget, which is, we're talking about helping somebody in need. And we have somebody that runs that does exactly what you said.
Yep.
Like, we will help people, but you got to be helping yourself too. Like
Look,
if you're in a tight spot and you're working and you're whatever, we'll help you.
Yeah.
I worked
may
in
even
it for
help you.
17 years, and people will walk in off the street, and if they know the system when they walk in the door and they say, "I want to talk to somebody about a gas voucher." Well, how do you even know what a gas voucher is?
Right.
Why didn't you come in and say, "Hey, I was wondering if I could talk to somebody. I really need some gas."
Hard up. I got laid off.
They said, "I want to talk to somebody about a gas voucher."
Yeah.
Means they've had one before.
Yeah.
Versus coming in and being like, "Hey, can I clean your parking lot?
Yeah.
Can I do a little something for you to get enough to fill up my tank?"
I clean the church, whatever, like wipe the toilets down. But so like let's look at biblical charity, like it talks about in the Bible, versus like government redistribution. Like the biblical model, like we were just talking about, voluntarily. Good Christian humans are going to voluntarily give their money, time to help people. Personal, it's driven from the heart and driven from
an individual
Christ-like love.
personal basis.
Yes.
Yeah, even the Bible talks about us giving the tithe, which is the 10%. When you become a Christian, you don't just automatically get your check deducted 10%. because you're a Christian. It doesn't. Okay, now you got to start making your payments.
Yeah.
You got to physically move that money.
It's still your choice to make.
Volunteer.
It's a voluntary choice you got to make.
But on the flip side, the socialist model is 100% mandatory,
Right.
centralized. It's impersonal, and you're forced to do it. You have to do this.
The government is going to do it on your behalf.
Complete
But
control.
it's not the whole even like I might could even get on board if it was okay. So it's 10%. So everybody's going to pay their 10%. No, that's not what it is. It's okay. Well, it's 10% for everyone, but Johnny can't afford 10%. So he's only going to give 2%. And so I need you to give 18%.
For the warmth of collectivism.
Right.
We need him to feel warm. And so collectively, we're all going to help.
So he needs to, see that he's getting to participate just as much as you.
Yeah.
I
like this right here. It says, socialism often markets itself as compassion at scale, but Christians must ask, and this is the key point, who controls that compassion?
Good.
And let's look at the United States and how much fraud is going on. Let's look at our own example in a capitalist society when Bernie Sanders goes around preaching everything right here that we're talking about, collectivism. Meanwhile, the average person who loves Bernie and believes everything he says has no idea he owns 3 different homes.
Yeah.
Multi-million-dollar homes in beautiful vacation spots. So he comes, stirs up the people, preaches collectivism, and goes to his vacation on the beach while you live in a government house.
Chelsea Clinton with the whole charity
For Haiti.
I'm thinking that she had, that end up paying for a wedding and all kinds of stuff, that.
Yeah. They led this whole charity for Haiti after the hurricane decimated them. And again, 20 years later, they look into it. It helped pay for Chelsea's wedding. Multiple $1 million meant for the poor people of Haiti went into her pockets.
Never received a dime, probably.
Look at what's going on in Minneapolis with the daycares and all that. The fraud is unbelievable. So we have examples, even though we're not a socialist country, it's creeping in.
And I think the ultimate goal here, you replace God with the state in a sense here, and because the state becomes the complete power to
state
people.
becomes God.
Yeah,
that's it. And that is
they become the provider, the protector, and the moral authority
of everything.
And that's communism.
Yes, which is why you can't have free speech. And remember, once you evolve into communism, like in Russia, they have Christian Orthodox Church.
Yeah.
And they believe in Jesus. And again, on the surface, you're like, well, Russians are okay. Then you realize all of their churches are state controlled. China doesn't have, being a Christian is against the law.
Yeah, you got to go.
They don't even have Orthodox churches. But in China, they will not allow Jesus to be talked about there because Jesus would replace the state.
Yeah.
That's the number. You want to know why Christians are oppressed. You want to know how can something so awesome for people and human beings at scale why is the government scared of it?
It takes away their power.
It takes away their power because no matter what they do, we have a higher belief. And that's why our Declaration of Independence was so important, because they knew that. And they said in our declaration, it doesn't matter what you do, whatever you say, whatever law you pass, these rights come to us, they're unalienable rights given to us by our Creator. And that right there alone destroys the state model that they're God. They put that in there for that.
I got a funny. What's the first word you think of when you hear the word communist? Like, what's the first word that comes to mind?
For me, because I grew up loving geopolitics, the big scary hammer sickle of Russia, the USSR, Russia.
What about you?
Nuclear war.
I don't know. I think of Hitler.
Yeah. I think the first word that comes to my mind is China.
which now, because you're a little younger,
Yeah.
to this giant behemoth place.
Carrie, my wife has this stuff she got that she puts on her face, and it came straight from China. And she was like, "I'm doing a facial," and I said, "No, that's a communist facial."
Hey, and I'm being serious when I say this. If you get some sort of cream or powder from China, there is a high likelihood they are using some toxic chemicals in there. There was a while back, I don't know if y'all remember this, when toys coming from China were coated or painted with toxic paint, had lead in it. Anything coming from China, you have to be like, if it's going on your skin or in your body, you probably need to be careful because they're going to do, if it's cheaper to put something that's bad for you in there, they will do it.
Yeah, 100%. Mike, talk a little bit about, you had me listen, but Animal Farm, the book.
Okay, so there's two books written by George Orwell, and they were written in the 40s. And everybody's probably heard of 1984, and you've probably heard of Animal Farm. And if you get a chance, watch the movie 1984 and read on Audible. It's a 3-hour listen.
Yeah, 3-hour listen, super, super easy, super quick. And it's a good listen.
Well, actually, let's reverse this. I've read the book. You just listened to it literally yesterday.
Yeah.
Tell me the so Animal Farm is literally where it's using them they're using them like they're humans. Yeah. They talk and
it's a fiction-ish story.
Yeah, and it's talking about, tell us what it was about.
So, what was the farmer's name? John?
Don't worry about it. Just say the farmer.
There's a farmer, lives on this house. He's got all these animals, and the animals talk, and this pig had a dream, and they all come together, and he has this dream that they're going to have basically says, we're living under the guise of this farmer. He barely feeds us. We get the bare minimum. He's drinking all the time, doing what he wants to, and not caring about us. And
they're fomenting a revolution.
Yeah, they are fomenting a revolution. These pigs are heading it up because they are the intelligent ones in the story.
Yeah, there's classes, and the pigs are intelligent.
Yeah.
And then each one has a thing that they're good at.
Yeah, and there's like this horse, and she's like kind of dainty, and she's borderline liberal, I think, and she wants to control, I think, to be controlled. But they form a revolution. They overthrow the farmer, kick him out, run him out of the street. And while this is happening, the pigs have learned to read and write from a book he threw in the fire. They take him out. They write a sign. Now instead of the farmer's farm, now it's the animal's farm. They run the thing. Over time, the animals all agree, we're gonna make this thing run. We're gonna do the hay, we're gonna harvest, we're gonna do this stuff. Everybody's gonna get rations, all this stuff. So they do this full revolution.
Good socialism. Everybody's gonna get plenty of food.
Yes. Well, it comes time for this apple harvest. Or actually, the first thing is these cows were moving and carrying on because they were full of milk. Nobody had milked the cow. So the pigs milked the cow, and the milk's sitting there, and everybody's like, what are we gonna do with the milk? And they're like, oh, don't worry about it, and the people are like, well, it used to go in our mash and this and things and that. But anyway, they go do the hay, and they come back, and the milk's gone. They realize later that the pigs were putting the milk in their mash, their food. When it comes time for the apples to be picked and dropped or whatever, and the pigs say, well, we're the intelligent ones. We're making this whole thing run. The brain power, we need the apples for our brain power. Go as far to say it's scientifically proven.
Yes. Hey, it's COVID. Do we have, this is written in the 40s.
Yeah.
And the pigs in this story are saying, you cannot question it because it's scientifically proven.
Yes.
The apples feed our brain to allow us to be intelligent.
So all the animals agreed to let the pigs have the apples. No one else got the apples. Long story short, the pigs end up, and they come up with these commandments, 7 commandments. Humans are bad, 4 legs only kind of thing. Everybody's equal. Well, the end of the story, the pigs are saying now we're all equal, but some are greater than others. The pigs have now become the totalitarianism people.
They become the farmer.
Yeah.
The original farmer that they seek to overthrow. They got into power, and now they're like, no, we got this.
This is written in the 40s.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And then, like, if you ever watch 1984, and these stories were written.
Is that by Taylor Sheridan?
yeah, 1856,
Yeah.
no, 1893, 1923. These were written as stories to explain communism back then, because communism was spreading all over the world, and he was using these stories to explain to the dumb sheep of the world how what looks good can then end up killing you. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Like this is right here, like this. How can we apply that to the now? Is bureaucracies grow, accountability begins to shrink, and then the pigs, the elites, become untouchable.
It's
power thing just keeps growing and growing and growing.
Controlling what is, quote, truth, controlling what you can say, what's illegal to say and not say, constant surveillance. You can say and here's another clue, if it's for the children, when they say it's for the children, the government says that, it's almost always a ploy to gain power.
And now you can't say anything against it because it's for the kids.
You nailed it. And
you're a horrible person if you don't want to help kids.
And safety. It's for safety.
Yeah.
So how many times have we heard too, like recently, like, we're going to take this out of the history books, or we're going to take that out of the history books, or we're not going to teach that anymore. Or so, like, they try to rewrite history, because if people don't know the history, they can be in complete power and make it say what they want to say.
And in 1984, they do that. They were constantly rewriting history.
And think about this. Several years back here now, they started taking cursive writing out of, we're not going to teach that no more because it's archaic.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, why would they do that? If they can't read cursive, they can't read the Constitution.
You know, Bob,
I never even thought about that.
I never thought about that. I mean, you can Google it and get it.
Yeah.
But there's something
something
special
about reading it.
On, even, you're looking at the picture and it's on that parchment paper and that gorgeous writing. Then you're only seeing it digitally, which means it could be
I'm being
altered.
told what it says.
You're being told what it
not
says.
reading what it says.
Off the original document.
Right.
I would venture to say if I went to Russellville, 8th grade class, the whole 8th grade in Russellville, and had them read the Constitution, the original, I bet over half of them couldn't do it.
And I also think it kind of goes back to collectivism, because cursive writing, everybody's is a little different. Where if everybody prints, everybody can read what you write.
Same.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
Yeah. So we got that socialism is the entry point in this whole thing, and then communism is the end goal, and then when you get to totalitarianism, that's just complete loss of every right, freedom, everything.
And that's what's happening. And as governments gain power, so in Europe, they're never going to call it communism.
Yeah.
What it is, it's a slow creep from socialism to communism. Then one day you wake up and the state controls everything. So we're having the same thing happen here. We started capitalism and freedom. And what are we slipping toward? Socialism. Yeah. And then you slip. That slide never stops. Remember, every step taken toward socialism, there is never a reversal.
You never slide up.
You never slide back up.
Slides don't go up.
No.
They go down.
All right, let's talk about the human cost. How many deaths are attributed to communism and socialism, Mike?
So to be accurate, if you really get into it, they'll say socialism is not technically responsible for a whole lot of deaths.
Bullcrap.
But remember, socialism is just a cover for communism. But let's go to communism, because that's where you're all headed. We're headed there too. It may be 400 years from now, but we'll creep there. Europe's well on their way. So this right here says 80 to 100 million deaths. I suspect if I really were to delve into it, it's more than that, because you had Mayo in China, you had Hitler, you had Mussolini. Those are all under regimes that had where the state had total and complete power. There was a famine in Ukraine where the communists, literally the Ukrainians were acting up, and the government literally stopped giving them food to kill them. Millions of people died of starvation because the government did not approve of how that state was behaving. That's what you get. So you can imagine in these states, imagine 100 years from now, we're mega guys. We're the Trump of 100 years from now. They want to shut us down. They will use the government control to destroy the movement that is a threat to their power. They've already done it. You've got a president who was spied on by our central government. You have a president who was put in jail. You have a president who had his home raided and they went through Melania's drawers. He hasn't released a video yet, but he has video of it occurring. Think about this. A former president had his door kicked in or opened, and a search warrant conducted on his home for possession of documents that I forget what they call it, the people who control all the documents for history in the Capitol, because they thought he had documents he shouldn't have. Meanwhile, Joe Biden had the same documents, because every president keeps documents for their future library, in his garage. No search warrant conducted.
Wow.
So you're already seeing it now, that if you're a threat to their potential power, you're going to be destroyed.
Yeah. They're going to hit the most vulnerable first.
Yeah, the easiest targets first.
Yeah. And ignoring incentives that hurt the poor, debt, and dependency have consequences as well. So this all plays into these deaths and the actual human cost of all this.
Well, it's creating the where we're all dependent on the government for everything, and that's why sometimes, like, let's go to the gun control argument. On the surface, as a former cop, do I get that the average human probably doesn't need to have an AR-15? I get it, because I didn't want to go against those guns, But you can never agree to it, because it starts there and then it becomes the next thing.
Yeah.
And then next thing. So you hold the line, even if in your mind you're like, logically I can get to what they're talking about. You have to hold the line, because it never stops. It's called incrementalism. One, you grab this much power, you take it away from the people. Then you grab another little piece, and you just continually pull it back.
Give an inch, and then you eventually give it enough inches where you've given it everything away.
And then one day, 2 generations from now, it's gone.
Well, it's just like some of our beaches. I don't think a lot of people realize that sometimes they have to truck in sand because the water is taking it away just a little bit at a time, taking it away.
Without you even noticing. Like if you're going out there every day, it happens so gradually, you don't even notice. So I think that's why, even if something in your mind as you analyze it sounds reasonable, we have to remember that human nature, just like Animal Farm, human nature is always going to grab what's best for them. They're going to be selfish, and they're going to do what benefits them and their people. And if you don't hold the line, you're going to lose everything.
Yep. Anything else?
No, I think that's pretty good. But man, so yeah.
Hopefully we did a good job of explaining, basically just how unchecked power corrupts. And
another point on socialism, communism. So in like the military and innovation, so that's why in the United States, we've been to the moon. That's why we have Elon Musk, because in America, the individual can create and do whatever he wants. Your dream is as big as you want. If you go to any communist country right now, you're not seeing any innovation because there is no freedom. When you graduate college in China, you don't pick your job, the state picks your job for you.
Yeah.
And then in the structure, what makes our military amazing is the power of individual decision making, the freedom. I trust you. I've trained you. I trust you. Go make decisions. In China and communist Russia, they can't, as a commander, they can't make a decision until boss says you can. So you're in the middle of a firefight. You want to make a choice that can help you. You can't. You have to check with the boss first.
Terrible.
That stifles innovation, growth, and making the world a better place.
Yeah. Remember, freedom requires limits and compassion requires choice. Christians should be the most generous people on earth, but generosity loses its soul when it's outsourced to the state.
Yeah, never give anything to the state.
Never give in.
Never give
Hold
in.
the line. Continue to fight the good fight. You can press out of here.
And you have an assignment. You need to watch 1984, read Animal Farm, and go to Google and look at the housing on Google Earth to see physical proof of for yourself what we're talking about.
And let us know what you think.
Lord Jesus, thank you so much for this opportunity to come together and to talk about life as men, as Christian men. We ask you to guide us in the weeks ahead. Help us make the proper decisions. Help us be good Christian men, that and all of our listeners. And Lord, if you can take this episode and help one person in any struggle that they're going through, then our mission has been achieved. Continue to watch over us, continue to guide us, guide our words, and help us be the best men that we can be. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.